Hello there, Morons. It's Victor, Give Me a Breakman, Give Me a Flickman, the king of the Morons, here in the most happening part of Nagoya. It's, what time is it now? I don't know. It's 8:30 p.m. It's on a Monday night, so it's not that interesting night. But just had dinner with one of my colleagues, another teacher. And I'd like to do a video response to Enlightize, which is a very cool, very pretty. I'll give you the superficial crap first. She's very pretty. She's very cool. She's a minority. She's black. She has long, flowing hair and beautiful woman, which is really what you want to be if you're making videos. You want to be that kind of person. If she's gay, it would even be better because I hear the gays and the blacks do very well on YouTube. I'm just kidding. I'm just pulling your leg, being politically incorrect on purpose. Okay. Here's a Boryoku. Oh. They're like protecting people against violence, which is funny. Four old guys protecting the world against violence. Anyway, so just to give you an idea, this is the part of Nagoya that's very active. But it's a Monday night, so it's not that interesting. Anyway, tonight I would like to do a video response to Enlightize, and a video, she said, why you won't like Japan. And I will link the video in the description. You should check it out. I like her. She's good. And she's also been in Peru, like me. She worked in Peru. I'm actually from Peru, but she worked there. And there's a few things I want to mention. That I'm gonna address some of her points. Okay. So the first point she says of why you won't like Japan is that Japanese are like robots, and that you only need a few words to be fluent in Japanese. I would say, yeah, on a superficial level, but she says you only need like 7 words to be fluent or 5 words to be fluent. Of course, that's not true. Of course, that's not true. That's just ridiculous. But with 5 words, you can fool people into thinking you are fluent. I would say, though, the most important word, which she did not mention, is yoroshiku, yoroshiku, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, yoroshiku, yoroshiku. If you say that word, which means basically, please favor me, or be nice to me, or be good to me, that alone is enough, right? These old guys, I saw you before, like, I don't know what they're doing with that girl. They'll be hassling her, or flirting with her. Probably just flirting with her. So anyway, this place behind gives you advice if you want to see a girl's place. If you want to visit a certain establishment, that guy will give you advice. And they're robotic, and they're predictable. I'd argue, yeah, I suppose maybe a little bit more, but one of the problems with that is that they're predictable to you because probably you as a foreigner will have a limited amount of things that you can actually, how do I explain this? Okay, so you have certain problems with language, right? You're not going to be able to communicate that well. So there are certain ways people will deal with you, and you're limited to interacting with people, you know, on a certain shallow level. And because of that, yeah, you will encounter the same patterns over and over. Okay, I imagine the same thing happens to people who live in the States who don't speak a lot of English. You know, you get the same patterns, but I honestly don't think that's necessarily true if you speak Japanese fluently. So you will still encounter similar patterns, but you're able to quickly pop out of those patterns. I'll give you an example. If someone says, "Oh, your Japanese is great," when it's not true, or where you're from, you know, you can quickly, if you're fluent, change the conversation into something else. So that's, you know, you can argue that they're predictable, but I think it also depends on how they're predictable when it comes to you, and you're part of the problem. And that if you don't speak Japanese well, there are only certain things that they can only deal with you in certain ways. So, but it is true that that I think she only mentions 5 words, but I think if you were to like memorize, I don't know, maybe 1,000 set phrases in Japan, you'd be pretty fluent, which is pretty low. I believe Hemingway uses only 3,000 to 4,000 words in his books, so you don't really need a huge vocabulary, and I think in Japan even less to get away with a conversation. But again, if you want to take your relationships to a deeper level, you're going to need more. Now, one thing she does is she links a Craigslist's letter, really terribly written. Jasmine, her name is Jasmine. I met her in Tokyo. Very nice woman, very nice woman. But she links inexplicably to me. She links this horribly written Craigslist letter, and it's really badly written. Someone who is not a native speaker or really drunk or really stupid. I don't know. And I was not. Have a beer. And so the letter was stupid. It's complaining that, oh, I can't have relationships with Japanese people, but part of the problem could be, let's pick a beer together. Part of the problem could be that the person who wrote the letter does not understand Japanese. Well, you know, I never drink a bottle. I should drink a bottle or something, but it's always also pretty cheap. What do they got here? Of course, they got the strong zeros. Cheap, only 103. That's incredibly cheap. Wow, I just have a strong zero just because I'm videoing, and so, you know, you gotta have a strong zero for you guys, right? Oh, besides, regarding my last video, which is entitled Before the Channel Dies, this channel is not dying. It's just the title. Just showing you a very nice part of Japan, I thought. I don't think this channel is dying at all. Anyway, let's pay for this. Let's pay for this. Okay. Little times, I'll take a little time. Of course, that copyright music's right in my ear, so that's kind of sucks. So I'm gonna keep this. Yes, yes,店って何時までやってますか？3時までですね。3時、あ、すごいね。水かけ。Okay, so now we're getting out of here. All right, guys. So let's open up this baby somewhere. Blah 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 blah. Just a minute. And do a kanpai. Kanpai. So where were we? Let me check my list. Luckily, I made a list on iPhone as I do this laundry vlog. By the way, if you're new to this channel, it's a laundry vlog, which means I wander and walk around and talk a lot and don't make sense sometimes and lose my train of thought. Yeah, so limited vocabulary. Okay, next thing. Japanese don't tend to ask why. Whoops. Whoops. Uh-oh. Run. I just knocked over a bicycle. And she's talking about work situation. I would say probably she's right. In a work situation, do what you're told. Don't ask why too much. But she also says when things don't make sense. So the implication is that things often don't make sense. But it also might be that people just don't understand, you know, why something is being done. So the fact that you don't understand something doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. It just means that you don't understand it, right? This is a nice place. Here's a place. Woo. So I would not. Oh, this guy's grabbing his balls here. We'll be passing a bunch of rowdy people here. So I wouldn't. Good. Anyway, so yeah. Again, that could be a language thing. Though it could be, and again, these are not her complaints, the complaints that people have told her about. And that's number 2. This is a nice. Look at this restaurant over here. Number 3 on the complaint list is. Well, one of them is about Japanese using you. Some people complain that Japanese use you for language. I've never. Not never. You know what? I was here like maybe less than a week. I'm on the subway and some person turned to me and said, can I practice my Japanese on you? I mean, my English on you. And I said, sure. And she asked me a few questions and I answered them and she got off like 2 stops later. Was I used? I guess I was. Did I feel used? Not at all. I just come to Japan. I was enjoying the situation. I wasn't really too offended by any of it. And that was that. Now, do a lot of people do that? No, not at all. In fact, almost never. There was one case. I mean, there are cases where it happens where people do it, speak English with you, but my personal opinion is that they're not so much using you as that they're just socially unaware or incapable of accepting the fact that you can speak Japanese. Just tonight, I went to go visit a guy, a bartender, who was entering a national competition, and he wanted my advice. And he asked me to come by the bar so he could ask me my opinion on his presentation, because he's going to be presenting in English. So he asked me, and we're talking and talking, and he realized that he did not actually know that I spoke Japanese. He knew me as an English teacher, so he just, you know, no one asked could he speak Japanese. And it wasn't a free thing. It wasn't like he's going to use me to perfect his presentation. He just wanted my opinion. And anyway, when he realized I spoke Japanese, he said, "Oh, Jesus, you speak Japanese. Let's just speak Japanese." And we switched over to Japanese. So it wasn't that big a deal, you know. It wasn't like the using thing. What I'm saying is that it really depends on the person. And I think a lot of it depends on your attitude. If you think people are using you, well, you know, a lot of that is you. If you have that kind of mentality. But if you just understand that some people don't know how to deal with you and forgive them for that, then you're going to get along a lot better here. If you're the kind of person who's always paranoid that people are using you, then you're probably going to have a shitty time here. And like she said, you are probably not going to like Japan. But I will disagree by saying that I think people are actually using you. This place. Yeah, I don't think people are actually using you that much here. I think most people would rather just avoid you. I will tell you that. Like when she does mention that people are predictable. In that, oh, beautiful. People are predictable and they will not sit next to you on the subway. That does happen quite a bit. It's a minor inconvenience. A lot of people will sit next to you, but... And again, it depends on the foreigner. It could be because of my size. I'm a lot bigger than most Japanese. I'm almost 6 feet tall, and I'm 210 pounds, so I am bigger than most Japanese, and I guess it's natural for them to not want to sit next to someone who is foreign and big, as I am. I'll tell you a funny story. I was at the grocery store yesterday with my wife and my baby, my son. He's so cute. And I was just filming some of the fried foods and showing how, oh, fried foods are here, cool. You know, you had a whole smorgasbord of fried foods there. And I was just like having a little fun doing a little video with my iPhone. And this old woman noticed me filming, and she turned around and she's pushing her cart, and she had just put some like tempura into her tray. And she turned around and she's like, oh my god! And she froze. And as she froze, like somehow her cart that she was pushing got stuck on something and tilted, and she knocked over her whole shopping cart full of food. And you might think that's impossible. Well, the shopping cart is actually this metal. It's a metal shopping cart, but on top of it there's a plastic basket, right? So she knocked over the basket, and all the food went everywhere, including the tempura. Well, everything else was packaged, right? Or not so bad, but the tempura went on the floor. That tempura was gone. So that was I think the first time ever that I actually felt guilty for being a foreigner. And I know some of you are going to be like, oh, you should never feel guilty about that. But it wasn't like I was a bad person, of course. I don't think I was being bad. I just felt that I was, I just felt bad because this poor old woman, you know, she's this old woman and she's like, oh, foreigner, ah, and she just fell over. I mean, knocked her food over, but okay. I'll get that drink out of the way. Okay, so, anyway, there's that. What was the, let's go back to the list, excuse me. You get used by Japanese, yeah. The other reason you might get used is they just want a half white kid. Any idiot who marries you because they want a half white kid and you marry them, you are to blame. You are stupid if you marry someone who's so shallow that they only married you because they wanted a half white kid. If you can't figure that out before you get married, then buddy, I'm sorry, that's your fault. I mean, that's a stupid person, okay? Because having a kid is a big goddamn responsibility and a big and a big commitment. I mean, that's a 20-year, 18, at least. Well, let's see. I guess you get rid of the kid at 14 if you wanted. 14-year commitment at least, okay? Worst case. So, the other complaint that she got was many Japanese don't think much. No opinions. Again, is it true or is it just the fact that you don't understand Japanese? I don't know. I think a lot of Japanese have many opinions. A lot of them have very strange and interesting opinions. But these are guys that were going out clubbing and they meet girls and like, where do you want to go to dinner? It's like, oh, wherever you want to go. But that kind of girl exists everywhere, you know. Once you get to know a girl, believe me, they'll tell you what they want, what they don't want. A lot of them have opinions, so I think that's bullshit, is what I'm saying. Japanese obviously have taste. And here's a strange way to look at it. Japanese will shop. Human beings shop with their feet, or choose with their feet. What that means is they go where they want to go. They might not tell you, but you know, you can tell what a Japanese person wants, just like any human being wants, by what they choose. And they choose. There are ways that you can tell what they're choosing. If you're dating a Japanese girl, and you ask her where do you want to go, and she says wherever you want to go, she's just being polite. It doesn't mean she doesn't have an opinion. She's just being polite. Believe me, she will get to her opinion. And look at this purse out here. Just left out here. I'm sure the person's inside, but it's amazing that they would leave that. Okay, quick across the street before subway. Whew. It's a ring. I gotta get to the subway first. That's beautiful there, huh? Look at that. Okay. Let us continue on this long ass laundry vlog as some of you complain about my drinking in camera and getting sick because of the way the camera's moving. Okay, next one. Japanese compliment you too much. You're just a talking dog. You're treated like a talking dog. Once they realize my Japanese is decent, we just start having conversations. I don't get treated like a talking dog. I think there is probably a level when that happens, but that's before your Japanese is actually that good. I think when you're Japanese is so-so, that's the kind of compliments you get, you know, or you get that kind of treatment because actually you're not capable of more, and that's what a talking dog is capable of. I'm not trying to defend the Japanese. I'm just trying to show you how these might be misinterpretations or given to her by foreigners who don't quite know their shit, right? This is the Electric Museum, I think. It's nice here. Anyway, but I'll be the first to admit the core point here is Japanese compliment you way too much. Yeah, they do. But again, it depends on who you're dealing with. I remember when I worked my ass off to learn Japanese, and I had this girlfriend, right, who didn't seem to be impressed. And I asked her, well, how come you never I mean, it was almost weird. Like she never ever mentioned my language ability at all. And I asked her about it once. She's like, well, you know, I mean, you studied hard, and everyone else. I don't remember her answer. But the point was she never complimented me on my language ability, and I was surprised. So you will meet people who don't compliment you. My wife does not compliment me. She will, on occasion, correct my language when I do make mistakes, slight mistakes. She'll like tweak it or something. I still make mistakes, of course. But she doesn't. She never says, "Oh, I can't believe you speak so well." And none of her family members ever comment on my language ability at all. And I don't remember them ever complimenting. This is a weird place. What's this place? Oyster Bar. I don't remember her family members, and it's a pretty extensive family. Her mom, her dad, her brother's wife, in-laws, etc., etc. Nobody ever compliments me on that at all. So, yeah. Some people do, but once you form a real relationship, I don't think that becomes an issue at all. Where the hell's Fushimi Station? I'm looking for Fushimi Station. Okay, let's go on to the last thing. Okay, many foreigners get clinically depressed. Oh, what's this place? That's possible, but in that case, what the hell is it? I don't know where I am now. I'm completely lost. I don't have to talk to these salarymen here. I can shake my mouth. Sorry, I'm not worried. Find out where the hell I am. Oh, here you go. Okay. I think we just gotta keep going forward here. Let's see. I bet if I speak to someone in Japanese, I'll speak to me in English. That's interesting. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Let's see. すみません。伏見駅ってまっすぐですか？
伏見は、
まっすぐ？
メイクはレフト。
See? So for him, that's like his big joy was to be able to say make a left to me because I'm a foreigner. Okay, there you got it, live on camera. Is that annoying? Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. But if that conversation were to continue, that would quickly be dropped and that would not be anything at all. That wouldn't be an issue. He assumes that I only speak English, even though I spoke to him in Japanese. But at the same time, he just wanted to use his Japanese, right? Now, if I were to converse with a guy for a little bit longer, I'm sure that would just fade away into nothing. And he probably wouldn't even think about it. I don't think he'd even feel guilty about it. It's just something you just do. But does it get annoying? Yeah, it gets annoying. But again, you have to remember, if you're living here, you got to take that and put it away. Don't like dwell on that. Don't let it become an issue, because if you do, you just go nuts. Everyone's bowing and saying goodbye, bowing and saying goodbye, bowing and saying goodnight. Anyway, that's pretty much it. The final thing was depression. Yeah. So a lot of people, I'm gonna go see if the dancers are here. A lot of dancers at this building. So she mentioned a lot of people get clinically diagnosed with depression. And I gotta tell you, I think that if you get clinically diagnosed with depression, then that's something that's in you. I don't think you can blame the country for that. She talks about how people, when they meet each other, they don't hug and they don't touch each other that much here in Japan. Well, yeah, that's true, but I wouldn't say that you can blame the country for your mental illness. I think a person who's sane and who's well-adjusted can deal with Japan. I mean, come on, there's 125 million people here. Not everyone's crazy. There are some people who are crazy, but not everyone's crazy. So, I mean, there's definitely some people who are crazy, but they're crazy everywhere, right? Is there more mental illness in Japan than in the States? No, I don't think so, but the stigma on therapy is much higher here. So people are less prone to get therapy here. I do have one student who's getting therapy now, and she told me about it, so that's good. I mean, she's not stigmatized, you know, she's not like, oh, I shouldn't do it. But yeah, Japan is a different place, and if you need human contact with others, well, I would say it might be tougher if you're out in the boonies and stuff. But if you're in Tokyo or any big city like Kobe, Yokohama, Shizuoka, Nagoya for sure, Kyoto, there's foreigners everywhere. There are a lot of foreigners. There's a lot of big communities of foreigners. So we're here, and there are a lot of phone numbers you can call. People like offer. There are hotlines now, and there's support groups now. So don't worry about it. So that's my laundry blog, 26 minutes, not bad. Thanks a lot for watching. Life is great. Enjoy life. What's wrong with you? Go out and enjoy life. Stop watching this video. Thanks for watching. I'll end on this video on these guys dancing. Cool. Cool.
Give him a break.